what you do. You buy these clothes that cost me and make a difference in it. But we never do that.
Never complains, gets up, gets on, with a smile on his face.
They just want you to sit in your chair and go, hip hip hooray, for the Western press and the Western narrative, regurgitating the same old, every single day, without the truth. If you haven't seen it before, please watch the first two episodes, the second series.
We are on the site of the castle,
and it was the first time the Beatles had really stopped being semi-professional almost.
Look at that.
Absolutely fascinating.
Come on. Just woke up again. But anyway, I'm here. It's Film Day, TV series. I watched a TV series ages, a few years ago. A Stephen King one called The Stand. And it's quite good. And it's back on. You can get it on YouTube. You can actually get it on YouTube. The Stand, it's called. Rob Lowe. But on the site of the castle, I hate that. I'm going to ask Jason to take that off. Boss, there's the boss, there's the capo di tutti capi. Good morning, FC and all. Am I too early? Anyone seen any new films they can recommend? I seem to prefer stories, repeats of older stuff. P.S. up their heads. When you hear our noise, we are the Shanks boys. Yes. When you hear our noise, you hear the Shanks boys. Yes. I like that. I like that little ditty. Because I grew up with the Shanks, you know what I mean? The master builder. That's what I call Shankly. The master builder. Know what I mean? We all know that. Edmund. FC is short for Frank Carlyle. I think that's what he meant, to be honest, the boss. But you left a great 11 before you went to him. But you left the Shanks, yeah. But you left a great 11. Why did, as I put, you left a sublime 11 before you went to heaven. I like that. I like that. And the boss there has been saying, you know, he likes older films, so I've been watching them. I've been watching all the, you know, the most of the propaganda ones, you know, from the Second World War, to be honest, boss. And brilliant. The Way Ahead. David Niven. The Way Ahead. And you see all the old British stalwarts, all the actors. David Niven. David Niven was actually nearly killed on D-Day. He came back from America when war broke out here. when we declared war on Germany, 1939, and he came over. He could have just stayed in Hollywood like that. Never liked him after that. Cary Grant. He brought out an American citizenship because he didn't want to come back. And other actors did, fine actors. Ronald Colman, he came back. You know, the likes of Colman was old, so he couldn't like put a uniform on and go fighting, if you know what I mean. And David Niven joined his old regiment because he was an officer in the army before he took up acting. And he made some great films here, A Matter of Life and Death. Great film, you get us on YouTube. A Matter of Life and Death. And he made that. He made The Way Ahead, as I mentioned. But I watched the colorized version. There's a colorized version of The Way Ahead. Very good. And there's one film, Morning Departure, with John Mills. And I couldn't think of it for weeks. I couldn't think. And I'm looking ages for it. Look, ages and ages, you know, for the actual film. And you get it on YouTube. It's called Morning Departure. It's a cracking little film. John Millsy. And he's what is he? He's a submarine captain. He says goodbye to his wife, you know, I'll be back. And she said, why don't you retire? You know, the war's over. She said, go and work for my dad. Instead of going out every morning and, you know, being away for days and weeks. So he said, okay, I'll do that. Gives it a kiss, jumps in his car, gets off, goes to the sub. Watch it. It's called Morning Departure. Cracking little film. Black and white. Barry Eldridge. I always liked Fields of Dreams with Nick Cage. I like Nick Cage. Have you seen Season of the Witch? Season of the Witch with Ron Perlman's a good film. He's a crusader. And he didn't like what was going on, you know, going in and killing everyone. Even, you know, women. And he killed this little girl. He's a crusader. Medieval times. And he said, I've had enough of this. Him and Ron Perlman. So they leave. And they go through, you know, like villages, and it's really good. Stephen Graham's in it. And Edward says, Paisley was in World War II as well, yeah. He's in the desert then. Tanks. Desert Rat. Bob Paisley. Goes on, Edward. And the boss says, Barry, Fields of Dreams wasn't with Cos in it, yeah. Kevin the Cos. I always found him wooden, you know, for some reason. I tell you what you can get on YouTube. Now, I don't like Michael Caine. Honestly, I don't like him. Morris Micklethwait. I don't like him. And he's in a cracker film with Ben Kingsley. And it's Without a Clue. It's dead funny. They're funny. Without a clue. Get that on YouTube as well. Like I'm saying films, YouTube, you know, rather than streaming them. I don't like modern day films. There's only a couple. And I keep mentioning it. Knox Goes Away with Michael Keaton. That's a cracking film. And Nobody, a couple of years old, Nobody. But what you can get on YouTube as well, if you like war films, is A Bridge Too Far. Great cast. Great cast. A Bridge Too Far. And Barry says to the boss, that is. The boss. Sorry, yeah, you're right. Of course, still good though. Yeah. Fields of Dreams. It's ghostly, isn't it? It's a ghostly film, paranormal type film. The Boss, The Departed, Nicholson, Damon, Leonardo, and Hunt for the Red October. Yes. Yeah, that's a cracking film. Really good film, Hunt for Red October, with Sean Connery. Yes, money, Miss Moneypenny. Yes. He had that lisp, didn't he? Very distinctive voice. You've got great actors with distinctive voices. The likes of Richard Burton had the greatest voice, in my opinion. I'll tell you who else did. Morgan Freeman's still got one, hasn't he? You know, he's still going. He's got a very distinctive voice. Henry Fonda. Henry Fonda. I was actually talking to, what's her name? Jane Fonda. Jane Fonda. And I said about her dad. I said, your dad, if he was gone into politics with his voice alone, he would have been president of the United States. I said, wow. Thank you. I agree, Barry. James Earl Jones, fabulous actor. He's died recently, hasn't he? James Earl Jones. And he has a distinctive voice too. Yep. You know, but I'll tell you a little funny story, and it concerns Anthony Hopkins. And he gets to New York, and he's trying to order dinner, you know, like evening meal, and he can't get through because Sean Connery's just arrived, and you know everyone was milling around Connery. Everybody was milling around Connery, and he couldn't get through to, and he was on the like 183rd floor or something. Anyway, he couldn't get through, couldn't even get the lift down. But anyway, he got through the phone, got through on the phone. And he took off Sean Connery. His voice. Brilliant mimic, you know. He's a brilliant mimic. Is Anthony Hopkins. And he took his voice off. And oh yeah, Mr. Connery, yeah. And he said, I want you to send a very special dinner to my friend who's in the hotel. I've just found out. Anthony Hopkins. Send it up to his room. And I know what he likes. And he told him. He said what he wanted. And it's Anthony Hopkins himself, but he's taken off Sean Connery's voice. And he said, and just put it on my bill. Just put it on my bill. And at the end of the interview, you know, he's saying, he said, I haven't bumped into Connery yet. He said he'd kill me. Great interview with Anthony Hopkins. Brilliant. And the boss says, yes, Frank, Field of Dreams sort of surreal themes. Or theme, yeah, was. Where you see them in the long grass, as I can remember. I like Anthony Hopkins, who I've just mentioned. I like him. I think he's a great actor. I really do. And have you noticed when there's a British actor, English actor, or whatever in an American film, he always played a baddie. Always played. You know, Alan Rickman, a baddie in that Die Hard. I didn't like them film, but you know, Alan Rickman playing a baddie, but he was brilliant in it. And he was brilliant in Robin Hood as well. Cosner was in it. And Morgan Freeman. Oh, come on, you know, this is historical here. With Atlantic accent. Robin Hood. Oh. But they had Alan Rickman again playing a baddie, like Prince John. If they knew the proper history of Prince John, you know, they got on. Prince John had to pay taxes because of his brother, Richard the Lionheart. He kept asking for money to go to Sorrento in Italy, to a big villa that he built. Like Zelensky, conning money out of everyone. Buying villas and mansions and everything. Big flashy cars. They don't know the full story. We've got Liverpool last time. The other fella, King John, you know, or Prince John, well, King John there. When he gave us our name, made of the bullet, sent to Sheriff Town, William D. Ferris. And D. Ferris came from Lancaster. He was the sheriff of the whole of Lancaster. And we could have easily have been in under the thumb, or under the umbrella, I should have said, of Chester. But the Earl of Chester have been given stick about, because about King John, you know. Because King John has his antiquary to go around getting the info, like off other earls and, you know, these barons or whatever they're called. And he got to Chester. And he said, what do you think of the king? And, I don't like him, said the Earl of Chester. I don't like him, he's a phony, you know, he's always taxing me. He said, but it was for Richard. No, you know, because of it. So anyway, it's okay. Little black book. And when he went back to King John, he said, well, what was happening? Did he like it? He said, well, yeah, a few of them like it, others don't. And he said, I found a new place. He said, where's that? He said, I don't know. He said, it's in the northwest of England. He said, it's on the banks of a river called the Mersey. He said, the Mersey, what's that? He said, it's a Mercian language. Mersey. So he just named it Mersey, the River Mersey. He said, what does it mean? He said, boundary. That means the boundary. So it's a boundary from there, like the likes of North Wales and Chester. He said, oh. I said, Chester? He said, yeah. He said, well, we could have put it under, you know, their umbrella then, can't we? And he went, called you for everything, you know. He said, hey. He said, the Earl of Chester. I said, did he? I said, yeah. calls you forever. He said, well, he said, what's it that sheriff up there in Lancaster say? He said, I thought you were all right. Oh, I did he? He said, well, all right, we'll put this, but what's there in this new place that you found? He said, he said, there's a couple of locals that are fishing there. And where they were fishing, and they call it the pond. You know, a pool. He said, a pool? He said, yeah. He said, what else is there? We can't call a pool because there's a pool down here, isn't there? He said, yeah. He said, there's loads of laver. Laver? Is that seaweed? Yeah, laver. So, all right, we'll call it Liverpool then. That's how Liverpool got its name. In August 1207, when we got the Royal Charter off King John and our name. Bridge too far. Great stuff, says the boss. Also reminds me of a classic Star Pact. The Longest Day is on YouTube. No, I think they're only bits, you know, of the Longest Day. I think they're only bits, you know, boss. If you know what I mean. You know, clips. I don't think the full film's on. I don't know. I could be wrong. You could be right. You know what I mean? I just don't know. But I've never seen it. Longest Day's brilliant. And you know Sean Connery? He was in there. And his sidekick in it. And you know, he said about his sidekick in it. He said, he's a great actor. He's a great character actor. He said, it's a pity that he's not in more films. And that was a Liverpool actor by the name of Norman Rossington. And I tell you who else said he was a great actor, because he was in a film with him as well. Called Deathline. And that was Donald Pleasance. He said, what a fine actor he is. Norman Rossington. Great little actor, you know. He's in loads of films. I remember him being in a comedy about the army, William Hartnell. And, you know, the stalwarts there. What was I watching yesterday morning? I was watching something. John Mills again. Oh, it was great. But I watched it on BBC iPlayer. If you like old films, boss. Like these propaganda ones. I said, oh, have a look at this. And it was called I Was Monty's Double. I'd seen it before years ago. And I watched it again, and it's got a true story. Millsy. But you see loads of stalwart actors. They'll just have like cameo roles. Brilliant. I Was Monty's Double. BBC iPlayer. You can't watch it if you haven't paid your license, and I have. Barry. Hitchcock made great films, but Trial M for Murder was brilliant. Brilliant. What about Witness for the Prosecution? Psycho. But I liked his little, you know, his first films, like Sabotage. Brilliant. And Young and Innocent. You know, this is in England. This is here. Before he went to Hollywood. just imagine if he had the technology today doing the birds. Fantastic film. When I mentioned Cary Grant, you know, I found him a coward, but he was always immaculate. I think he was the best dressed Hollywood actor ever. And he played, it was a cracking film, Once a Thief. And it was set in the south of France. Dead smart. He just wore like t-shirts. And like, mate, I want to be like Cary Grant now, you see. T-shirt. It's gone a bit warmer, thank God. I used to sit here freezing. Pullovers up. Mind you, you know, it's April, isn't it? So it'll change. It's bound to change. Once that wind comes, you know that the weather's changing. Once that wind comes, don't know what it's like out now. I know it's sunny out. Yeah, tell him for murders, correct. But he made some fantastic witness for the prosecution. Lawton, fantastic. Lawton, great actor. Gary the Rigby. Well, Frank and everyone. Has anyone seen The Face, 1997? Watched it last night, starring Phil, great actor in. Phil Davis. I tell you what, please watch it. You might find it a little bit boring at the beat, but watch it through. It's a cracking film. And it's Eddie Marsan's in it. He's one of my favourite, I like Phil Davis. They don't get the recognition, especially Phil Davis. Phil Davis is a brilliant actor. Brilliant. But he doesn't get the recognition he deserves. So totally agree with you there, Gary. Try and have a look at, please, try and have a look at Still Life. Is that on YouTube? I think it's on YouTube. Is it? Yeah. Still Life. Eddie Marsan. Just watch it. Watch it. It's a cracking film. He works for the council as a fella who, you know, when people die on the road and there's no one there. You know, people say, like, we haven't seen such a body and we're worried about him. And, you know, these people have got no families or, you know, the long lost families or whatever. And he goes and he sorts them out, you know, for burial. Watch it. Watch it. Still Life. If you haven't seen it, if you've seen it, let me know what you think. But watch it. Cracking film. So yeah, Phil Davis, Eddie Marsan. We've got great actors, you know. Great actors. Proper actors, if you know what I mean. Barry Allen. You watch films and you almost wish certain actors are, still around today and stay the same age, yeah. Because what I watch is, you know, like Then and Now on YouTube, you know, what they're like now. But you're always getting those clickbaits, you know, you see like a young star, you know, going back, what they're like now, and you see it. you know. And it's clickbait, they're not like that. Is it a sea? And I went, whoa. Oh, what's her name? Some actor, great actress as well. I thought, blimey, the change. You know, the age. Oh, she hasn't aged well. I'm not talking about Bridget Fonda. If you see Bridget Fonda today, she's only like 64. I don't know how old she is. But when you see her in one of my favourite films, actually, is Lake Placid, the first one. Not like the franchise. Terrible TV films, you know. The Legacy. Not The Legacy, what am I talking about? Lake Placid. Bill Pullman. Brendan Gleeson. Unbelievable. Brendan Gleeson, one of my faves as well. Philip Seymour Hoffman, he was one of my favourites. That Jennifer Aniston. No, it's not. That was Along Came Polly. And Bridget Fonda. And Oliver Platt, who's a great actor, great American actor. Lake Placid. Watch it if you haven't seen it. It's fun and serious at the same time. If you haven't seen it, watch it. But don't forget that Still Life. Strongly recommended, by the way. Still Life. But so is Lake Placid if you haven't seen it. Watch it. Christopher. Hi, Frank and everyone. English actors always steal the show. Yeah. Yeah. Alan Rickman, as I mentioned before, and Robin Hood. And if you've ever seen Galaxy Quest with a man, you know, Sigourney Weaver, and that's him, Alan. There's a scene in it where he goes, and he just improvises. And he doesn't want to go to this convention, and you know, and he goes, and Tim Allen goes, oh, where are you going? He said, I'm going to the pub. So he just said that. He just said it. I'm going to the pub. Brilliant. Rickman. Shame he's on his own. Shame. Great actor. Gary Rigby. I watched Order of Death 1983, starring Harvey Keitel and John Lyndon. It was actually brilliant in it. Order of Death. John Lyndon. Is that Johnny Rotten? John Lyndon. Harvey Keitel's a good actor, though. I like Keitel. But yes, Frank Hopkins was also good later on in a film. He was an old lad, took an old motorcycle to the US to speed it on the flats. Yeah, Salt Lakes, yeah. Salt Lakes in Utah. I never watched it though. It was similar to Donald Campbell. Then he used to go on the lakes, you know, with his bluebird, and he got killed because it was going along there. It just tipped up, somersaulted, killed him. Was it Windermere? Somewhere like that. Donald Campbell. I think it was around 1969, something like that. Edwards. Harvey Keitel was good at Mean Streets, he was. I seen him play. It was only a few years ago, actually, and I didn't like it. And he was playing Meyer Lansky. It was a terrible film. It's just don't fucking Meyer Lansky on the mob, and he didn't. He was a great bookkeeper. Meyer Lansky. It was Charlie Luciano. Lucky. Charlie Lucky Luciano. Yeah, I didn't like it. It's horrible. Tell you who's a good actor, who I like. Besides Nick Cage. What's Nick Cage? I watched it and I went, oh, that's a cracker, that. If you haven't watched Knowing, watch it. Cracking film. Knowing. And he's in another one. Can you get it on? I think you can. You can get it on YouTube called Tokarov, where he plays like a Russian mobster, but he's retired. Cracking film. Tokarov. But I bet you it won't come under that thing because I don't know why YouTube changes title. Maybe because of copyright. I don't know. Have you noticed Gladiator is on it? Straight to YouTube. That's how bad that was. Because people are getting used to, historical things. And historical things shouldn't be messed around with. For the likes of woke. And it bombed. It's on YouTube, on Gladiator 2. Find out who's in it, then you'll know why it bombed. Because it's not historical. I used to lecture about the Romans. And only stuff about Romans. And certain groups of people. When you got to look at the cast. The boss, Gary, is that order of death, also called cop killer. Well, yeah, there's Barry the Elder here. Watch Gladiator 2 last week. No, I won't watch it. I will not watch it. Because when I see a cast member, I went, that doesn't fucking happen. That does not happen. Never happened. And it's trying to change history. I don't like that. Yes, that's the one, boss. Definitely worth watching. What's that? Oh, Order of Death. Tell you what you can get on YouTube as well. The franchise I like them actually is Mission Impossible. And there's a few Liam Neeson ones as well, which are all right. That like Air Marshal. I think it's a good film, very good film. And John Wick. YouTube, Wiki. Keanu. John Wick. I think he's just finished like the franchise of John Wick now. Deer Hunter is slow but good. It was too long for me. I was De Niro and Walker. The scene where they have to play, that was Christopher Walken, was very good. John Cazale died the year it came out, He was dying at the time. He was knocking about with Meryl Streep. I think they were going to get married as well. John Cazale. He's a good actor. He was in a cracking film and it really gets mentioned. with Al Pacino called Dog Day Afternoon, about two gays going into a bank to rob it. It was really good. The Boss. Was Norman Washington in Tobruk with Sam Peppard? Sam Peppard, who's he? Tobruk. Most probably. Most probably. Most probably. Tobruk. But wasn't there Tobruk? I'm sure Richard Burton was in that. And a lot of other stalwart actors. Norman Washington was good in A Hard Day's Night, the first Beatles film, yeah. And Victor Spinetti. Victor Spinetti. And Edward Copperland is good. Lots of big actors. Yeah, I like that. Sly Stallone. Isn't it like the little mad sheriff, isn't he? And you get the Ben Cops going over to. Do you know what I watch? It's not a film. Try and get this fella up. What is it? That'll come to me. Civil rights lawyer. Civil rights lawyer. You want to see? There's loads of those cops, you know, traffic cops. And I put on a comment, you know. It wasn't live. It's not live, but you can comment. And I put a comment up. And I said, why is it that all these violent, and they are, you know, traffic cops, well, I said policemen, being English, traffic policemen, all balls. Why are they all balls? Why do they shave their heads? So I was watching it like a couple of weeks later, right? You know, just. And he didn't mention my name. He just said, I've just got to say something here. He says, an English guy, you know, wrote in and said, why are all these traffic cops? He said policemen, actually. Why are all these, the traffic policemen bald? He said, and I hope you're listening in, he said, because they want to look tough. They want to look tough. That's all. He said, and they are, because he sues them for people to get arrested for nothing. Shocking what they do. They're hanging you out of the car and everything. And they got body cams on them. Oh, shocking. I have a civil rights lawyer on YouTube. Just have a look for him. I don't know his name. Like, he's really good. And he shows you footage and everything. Violating the Constitution. Barry Alvarez. I meant she'll die then for murder because Ray Milland seemed to cherry pick his films and TV. Yeah, Ray Milland. He was English, went to Hollywood. This is what he had to do. He won an Oscar for Lost Weekend. He was really good in it. About a drunk. A Lost Weekend. Won an Oscar for it. Ray Milland. I tell you what, I tell you, he reminded me there. There's a film you get on YouTube with Roger Moore, called Gold of South Africa. The mines down it. It's really good. I'll tell you what I watched and enjoyed. Look at this fella here. Tasty Yagi. It's me that. Make my day. When 8 bells toll, Anthony Hopkins. 8 bells toll. Brilliant film. Robert Morley is absolutely, he steals the show in. Robert Morley. Fantastic. 8 bells toll. That's on YouTube. If you've got nothing to do one day, you know what I mean, and training outside, just throw it on. Cracking film. Robert Morley. Remember the name, Robert Morley. Tyler Jones. Tyler Jones. Think he did a name like that? You think he just come over from Hollywood, wouldn't you? Hi, I'm Tyler. Tyler says, a movie I really enjoyed randomly was Equilibrium. That's a horrible word, especially first thing in the morning when you've only got up. I don't think I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. To be honest, Tyler, never seen it, mate. Gary the Rigby. I tell you what I watched the other day as well. I don't watch ordinary telly. And me net went down. Net. What else to watch? And I put I don't like put ITV on or anything like that. What was it? And it's one of my favourite films. Ralph Richardson, black and white film. And it was called A Fallen Idol. A Fallen Idol. Fantastic film. Fantastic. About a butler who works in an embassy, a foreign embassy. And his wife is the housekeeper. You know, he's got all the servants and everything, but they're the bosses, the household. Great film. I bet you no one's seen it. I think it was on there. It was a film for now. I don't know what it was on. As I said, I don't watch ordinary telly. I just see it. Oh, that's. I think I don't know what it was on. I'm sorry. Could have been filmed for. I don't know. Well, sorry, Gary. Phil Davis is a character actor, unlike, say, Michael Caine. Yeah. Who always seems exactly the same in every. Yes. Yeah. That papers out now, that. Yeah. The best from the USA, Frank. Oh. There's lots of films, you know, like standout films. I think there was nothing better than The Godfather. You know, if you like that sort of genre of I'll try and get back on another one as well. But The Godfather. I remember reading the book of it. And I also read the book of Jaws before they came out, you know. Before they came out. Seen Jaws. No, Jaws was slightly different. Well, there's a big difference. If you haven't read the book of Jaws and you've just seen the film, the book is different. Albeit that, you know, the big fish is in. And The Godfather, same. No, I mean, like, it was the same. It's like I'm a great fan of Shakespeare. I love Shakespeare. Love it. Love every play he's done. And the best take on Hamlet, believe it or not, right to the context, was Mel Gibson playing Hamlet. And I tell you, he's a great, great director for filming the classics. And he's right to the content. And he directed Hamlet as well. And that's Roman Polanski. He likes to stick to the. If he's done a few, you know, he's done Cheshire the D'Urbervilles, and it was right to the text. Lots of symbolism, everything. Thought-provoking. It's like Hitchcock. Hitchcock was always thought-provoking. That's why they were classics. Thought-provoking films and thought-provoking storylines. And he also did my favourite play of all time. All time. The greatest ever play written. The greatest. And Roman Polanski directed that right to it. All of the content, all the context of that play was in the film. And that was Macbeth, John Finch. A great actor. I don't know whatever happened to him. He was great. I'll tell you who played Banquo in the film. And that was, you do know him. He was in The Professionals with that Lewis Collins. Martin Shaw, he played Banquo. And Banquo had a son named Fleance. Little lad, you know, running around. And Keith Chegwin played him. Keith Chegwin played him. If you don't like if you don't like Shakespeare, it's not worth watching. But that's a cracking version. Best version of Hamlet as well. And that's Roman Polanski. But we'll get back to you as well, Aaron, on the best from the US. I'll get back to you as well. But stands out is definitely. I'm trying to think of a film and it's not coming through to me. Tell you what it is. It's just come to me now. It's a cracking film. Sam Peckinpah. The Wild Bunch. The Wild Bunch. Fantastic film. You know, both films really are not like all these cops and, you know, shooting them, all the CIA and special ops fella and all that crap. It never happens. Yeah, Rocky Edwards, yeah, he wrote and starred it because they didn't want to get, he said, it's my script. He said, I want to star in it. He said, no, we're going to give it to someone else. You know what I mean? And he said, no, you're not having it. So he starred in it. Look what he is today. He's in it. You've got to watch it. It's a series called Tulsa. Sliced alone. Fantastic. Tulsa. Tulsa King. Fantastic. Edwards. Good. Along came. Oh, loved it. Loved it. Philip Seymour Hoffman. Brilliant. Brilliant. Ben Stiller is good and Meet the Fockers. Says Edward, yeah. But he's an arsehole, isn't he, in real life, Stiller? Remember going over to Zelensky and with that fucking zilly? Sean Penn. Sean Penn's a great actor. I think he's great. But he's a fool of himself. That fucking Zelensky, that criminal Zelensky. Do me a favour, boys, and watch something. It's Hindustan. It's a channel on. It brings you the news. Hindustan. It's Indian. And if you get it up, you'll see the other day on the 3rd of April, just this week, you'll see the Russian diplomat at the UN. And he was talking about, I don't know if anyone's seen it on mainstream news, I don't know, I don't watch it. And he was talking about a place named Bucha, or Bucha, B-U-C-H-A, Bucha or Bucha, just outside Kiev. And there was people murdered, bodies. And the Ukrainians blamed the Russians. This is right after the SMO, before really it started. And they blamed the Russians. And I said at the time, I don't think that happened. I don't think it was them. Because I heard, I forget who it was at the time, and I heard them say, no, that wasn't the Russians. They had well gone. It was the Ukrainians themselves who did this. Then all of a sudden, just disappeared. Just disappeared. Like the Skripals. Remember the Novichok? Novichok. Now look, there's my thumb. Yeah, there's my thumbnail. Thumbnail there. Right? That just on, painted on. And I went like that, you're dead, and I'm dead, and everybody else is dead. Novichok. And I know I was doing some research myself, and it was before that. It was before this Novichok came out, and I was like, chemical warfare, and the Russians done away with this Novichok, and it was just coincidental. Like months later, all of a sudden, Novichok just rose, and it was these Russian dissidents who Putin threw out of Russia. Threw them out. Skripal, his dad, sort of had to go with him. And they were supposed to be poisoned by Novichok. And I went, they don't make it. Then Lavrov came out and said, can I go over and investigate? We haven't got this. Can we investigate just in case someone has got it? And they wouldn't allow it. The British government wouldn't allow it. That's Skripal a few years ago, remember? Then all of a sudden, of all newspapers, I can't stand it. But it just come on, it just came out. When you're watching the news sitting there, Then all of a sudden, now this happens in Shrewsbury, this Novichok thing. And when you see them, they came out of the restaurants after having dinner and sat on a bench and went, and they were found, unconscious. Unconscious. Someone, look, there's a fucking set up. Then you see a tent over the bench that they were sitting on. Tent. And these fellas are all spaced up and everything. This is to get the dramatic. This is the drama. To get you sitting there, look at that. Do you know what gave it away? 2 fucking policemen standing there like that. Not in spacesuits or anything, just that. Oh, fuck. But that rag that we don't name, us Liverpool supporters, we hate, know the truth, newspaper. And like it just came out and it said, Novichok has actually made a port down at, just along the road from Shrewsbury. Novichok, which is supposed to be a Russian chemical warfare thing. You go, oh, come on. If those Russians wanted you to do your in, it would. Then that Navalny on a plane, Novichok again. Landed in Germany. Oh, come on. Fucking hell. Gary Lydon. Sorry, mate, mistake. John Lydon. But John Lydon, isn't that Johnny Rotten? Can't see him in fucking with Harvey Keitel, though. The boss. Just reminded me, Frank, when I was a kid, I had some Corgi model cars. One of the Bluebird you mentioned, yeah, they did make them. When I was married, listen, do you mind if I go and get me water? I'm absolutely parched. I won't be a minute, please. Honestly, it's only 2 minutes. better. I haven't had a drop yet, though. Said to our Francie, will you get me some water? She said, yeah. Big pigs like that. I said, how did you carry down 3 bottles of them? Thank you. Water. And the boss says, just reminded me, Frank, when I was a kid, I had some corgi models, yeah, and they did make the Bluebird. When I was there, I always went to Italy. I only went to Italy. Perché io parlo molto lingua italiano, molto bene. And I was there, and I always brought home at least 2 cars. But my cars were like a thing called Baratti made them. They were about that big. Brilliant. Still in the box. I always brought 2 home. Had loads of them. And I had them in the lot. The likes of Lamborghinis and Ferraris, MGs, you name it, I had them. Mercedes, vintage cars. I had a Baratti. No. What is it? You come up with it. But, I fucking know what it is. Bugatti. I was one of them anyway. These vintage cars, amazing. You know, like got a hood and that, if you know what I mean, with the windshield there. 20s and 30s stuff, fantastic. Had a few of them. And when I left, you're going to say, did you take them? No, left. So they are. Give them to your nephew. Aaron Kennedy. James Gandolfini was incredible. Best series ever. Best TV series ever. The Sopranos. I know his son, and he's also a great. You know his son? Go away. Well, he plays him as is that the lad who plays him as a young Tony Soprano? But it never really took off, did it? He was a great actor, Gandolfini. He was in a film with Brad Pitt. Great actor. I like Brad Pitt, by the way. I think he's a great actor. And I like Tom Cruise as well. And they were in a film together. I'll get back to the film that Gandolfini was in, Brad Pitt. And what was it? Cruise and Brad Pitt. And I said, at the time, that's proof that they're great actors. And I tell you what it was. I can't tell you what it was because I forgot the bloody title. Stay a minute ago. Oh, Interview with a Vampire. Christian Slater was the journalist. And they were great in it. Proper acting. And I said, they're just not glamour boys. That's why I like the franchise. And he does his own stunts, you know. Does Tom Cruise. Good acting. That was a great film, that Interview with a Vampire. Christian Slater there was the journal interviewing. Yeah, getting back to Gandolfini and Brad Pitt. If you haven't watched it, watch it. And it's called Killing Them Softly. And there's an actor in it, and he's not well known. An American actor called he's got a funny name, Scoot McNerney or Scoot McNerney, something like that. But his name's Scoot McNerney. Brilliant actor he is. I've seen him in some great films, and he's in that. He's actually in that film, Killing Them Softly. Have a look at it. If you haven't seen it, you'd have to stream it though. It's not on like YouTube. And he's also in a latest film. And I always keep forgetting this film actually. With I always get mixed up with these two actors. There's Ewan McGregor, and who's the other fella? Who's the Scottish actor? Who's the other Scottish actor? I always get mixed up with the two of them. But he's in it. I forget the title of the film. But you just, the film opens, you'll know, if you've seen it, you know what I mean. And it just opens up, you see like this little family on holiday in Italy, funny enough. Or is it France? Well, anyway. And then, you know, they're talking, and then they see these American couple. And they start talking to them. They say, "You're here?" "Yeah, we're here." So they start talking to them and become friends. And they say, "Listen, if you ever come to England, come and meet us. Come on." I forget the title. So there's Ewan McGregor. I like Ewan McGregor, but I like this sort of fella as well. He's a good actor. I forget his bloody name. Most probably you'll let me know who it is. But watch that film as well if you haven't seen it. It's not even McGregor's novel. So you're right there, Aaron Kennedy, James Gandolfini, great actor. He was in 8mm as well with Nick Cage. 8mm, which is a good film. Christopher. Galaxy Quest is fantastic. Loved it. I loved it. Lots of people didn't like it. Sam Rockwell, another great actor, he was in it. Aye. Fantastic. Die Hard. Galaxy Quest is fantastic. Die Hard, he was brilliant. He was in a quirky comedy film about hairdressing. Can't remember what it's called. He was also great in the Harry Potter films. You're talking Alan Rickman, aren't you? Yeah. Great actor. That quirky comedy film was with Emma Thompson. Something about love. It's not Love Actually, but it's something love, you know, the title. Edward says Meyer Lansky retired with his millions, yeah. Christopher Alan Rickman sadly missed. Yeah, absolutely. The Boss. I watched really old Battlestar Galact. What's that word? Film recently just to remind me of my youth. Ray Milland played a baddie. Ray Milland played a baddie. You couldn't think that Ray Milland to play a baddie, would you? Gary says, been watching Mike Lee films as well. Best of three. Naked, Meantime, and Grown Ups. The Boss. Don't like the way they milk the original films with remakes and sequels. Yeah, really weird. With the exceptions, of course. Yeah. Could see. Yeah. See, you can have too many franchises. Too many. I like Back to the Future ones. I thought they were good. Michael J. Fox. George said, Frank, the most historically accurate film, in my opinion, was Russell Crowe. Master and Command. That's actually his favourite film. Master and Command. You're right there, George. Cracking film. The Far Side of the World, visually stunning and brilliantly acted by all. Yes. Great actor there, Russell Crowe, you know. Great in Gladiator. And I'll tell you what else he was great in. I forget the bloody title. And he played a boxer. He played real life boxer, by the way. Forget the boxer's name as well. Forget the film and the boxer's name. But he was great in it. Really good story. You know, sad as well. Heavyweight boxer. American, obviously. Edward says, Tom Cruise does his own stunts, yeah. He broke his ankle in one of his films. He's broke everything, you know. He was in one of the Mission Impossibles. And you see him hanging from at the very beginning, you see him hanging from like this cliff thing. And he actually done the stunt. It was incredible. And he also, at the start of War of the Worlds, it was brilliant the way the camera went. You see this like crane picking up this big container or dropping it. And it goes up, it comes down, it goes up. And it's him in the thing. He's actually doing it. That's why I admire him. And I like the franchise. I like Simon Pegg in them. And Ving Rhames. Yeah, so you're right there, Edward. Wasn't Robert Morley in Top Cappy? That was brilliant, that. With Peter Ustinov. Top Cappy with Peter Ustinov. Great film. Very humorous. Good lad, Barry. Good lad, Barry. And as I say, I've read the Godfather book. Goes deeper. It does go deeper, yeah. It's actually, you know, if you put in the full content, fucking hell, it's going to go last 3 days. You'll be in the picture house for 3 days. And I know that you must have enjoyed it, Edward, because obviously if you pick a book up, you can read like that and go, put it down. I've got loads there. Well, I've had it at my own library. I'll show you. Have we got it? I'll show you that. I can't get it. My arm's killing me. Get it here, you know. Get this one. Brilliant book, that. All the stories there. Traitors and turncoats. These dirty, stinking traitors. You know, so I do it. I've got all the classics there, you know, from Dickens, Blake, all the poets, everything. Love me poetry. Love me classics. Shakespeare. Funny enough, I had the full thing, all the full works of Shakespeare. And my little granddaughter, Sophia, she's doing Hamlet. No, she's not. She's doing Romeo and Juliet. And I said to her, one day I'm going to take you to Verona. She said, where's that, Granddad? I said, it's in Italy. I said, and in Verona, you've got, you know, you're doing Romeo and Juliet. She said, yeah. I said, well, the balcony's there. Would you like to see it? Where she says, wherefore art thou Romeo? And she said, love to do it. Gary the Rigby. Fave gangster film. Got to be Casino for me. Joe Pesci is fantastic. Yeah, and De Niro. Yeah. Casino is a powerful film. And Christopher says, like and subscribe, everyone. Thank you. Gary says, I know I can't stand Johnny Lydon myself, but he is very good in Cop Killer. Cop Killer, is he in that? 1980. I don't even know if he's been in any other films. He's a Tory, you know. Did you know that? He owns a farm. Lydon. Tory. Yeah. I was saddened that Val Kilmer passed away. Yeah, really. He was great in Tombstone, man. Was it Tombstone? Where he played Doc Holliday. the Anfield, Scoot McNerney, yeah. High pitch voice actor, yeah. Always plays so, and he does. He's in Air Marshal. He's in that. With Liam Neeson. That's a cracking little film. Cracking film. Liam Neeson. So you're right there. I'm glad someone knows. But please watch your men killing them softly. As we say, boss film. As the boss says, boss film. Frankie, hope you have watched The Last Castle with Redford and Gandolfini. No, I haven't. I like Redford as well. I like him. No, I haven't. The Last Castle, no. Have I? Do you know what I might have done, you know? No. No, I haven't, Lamfield. Lucky Luciano started the Five Families. Broadwalk Empire is very good. Boardwalk Empire. Well, that's why he got Capone, wasn't it? I know all about it, actually. From books there. I mean, that's my library there. And yeah, he did start them. And that's why he went to Chicago. He said, get over to them, the Italians, and say, you know, listen, we've joined the team. We want you to join them. You know, we'll be. Capone said, fuck off. Making my own money. You're coming over here. Look what happened. Meyer Lansky got him, you know. It wasn't Frank. It wasn't what's his fucking name? Elliot Ness. Oh, the bollocks him. It was Meyer Lansky. Elliot Ness. They were always trying to get him. You know. And a fella named his name came to me, Purvis. Funny name. Purvis, something Purvis, but he's got a funny first name. And he came out. He ended up killing himself, Purvis. He was an FBI agent. And he's calling him, fucking Elliot Ness. Oh, I forget his first name. Purvis. Funny. Anyway. Yes, so it was Meyer Lansky who went like that. Yeah, that's how to get Capone. Get him on tax evasion. And it was him. Not Ness. And yeah, it's fucking great. No. Under the, the orders of the other fellow, though, Luciano, go and get him. We need him gone. We'll sort them. Then he had his capo, didn't he? Frank Nitti. And he said he needs to be gone. They got rid of him. In the subway. Frank Nitti. The Anfield. Edwards, I enjoyed that Buscemi, really good. James Buscemi. He mentioned me on the Jimmy Kimmel show. James Buscemi. James Buscemi is great in He's great in everything, to be honest, but he was in, oh, what's her name? Fargo. I like Fargo. And one of the best Fargos, he's in it. And there's another Fargo with Billy Bob Thornton. Brilliant. And the English actor. And I think he's great. And his name is Godfrey. I'm losing it. His name's Godfrey. He was in that, you know, like a latest series about a Liverpool cop. He was in that. He played a Liverpool cop. He has a great Scouse accent as well. And he was in that, The Hobbit, is it? And all that. God blimey, what's his fucking name? I forget his name. The Amphitheatre series, Master and Commander. I love that film. Brilliant. Also, like Crow's film, The Insider. Yeah. The Boss. Hello, lads. Come on. Hit the likes. They don't, you know. They never hit the likes. And it's so easy to get the algorithm. Oh, likes me. The officer says, for some reason, I think The Marathon Man is one of my favourite thrillers. I just love a lot of brilliance in it. Scheider, Hoffman. Jesus, that is a brilliance in my top five. The Marathon Man. And the greatest thing to come out of the marathon was Hoffman came up to her and he was all tired. And he had to do a scene. And he was all tired. And Olivier looked at him and said, what's the matter, my dear man? He said, you look awful. What is wrong? And he said, I haven't slept for 3 days just to do this scene so I can live. And he said, my dear man, please, darling, just act. That's what he said to him. Just act. Olivier, the greatest living actor of all time. Love him. And he's in Rebecca. Daphne du Maurier's Rebecca. Watch that. But that's a brilliant film, The Marathon Man. I like Dusty Hoffman though. He's in a cracking little love story, you know, with Emma Watson. Called Can Get Hold of It. What's it called? Oh, forget. Get the title. I'll try and think of it before I finish in half an hour. I'll try and think of it. And it's really a good film. It's in there, it's in the back of my head somewhere. Needed to come out. Edward Raw, I like Buscemi. He's good in The Sopranos. James Boucher. The Anfield. Edward loved The Soprano. Gee, best TV show ever for me. I said that before. What? Something in my mouth. Yeah, best ever. Best ever TV series. But what's The Outsider? It's only a very short, like, there's no like season 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 38 and all that nonsense. I don't watch that. But watch The Outsider. Brilliant. Hey, babe. Yeah, good. Go on. No, honest. Pause. I'm on a pause, but I finish at 12:30. No, ring me up at 12:30. Okay. Well, don't forget to tell Ben. Well, what about tomorrow? You know what I mean? Okay. All right, babe. Ta-ra, bum. Ta-ra. Anyone seen Trees Lounge? Brilliant film. There's Trees, isn't it? Trees Lounge. No, never seen it. Never ever seen it. The Anfield says no. Look it up. Well, wait. It says Gary Rigby to the Anfield. As would say, I've enjoyed today's show, Frank. It's been good. Thanks very much. That's it. The office is always got these Frankie's Saturday matinees. Just shows you, doesn't it? You know, when you talk about like films and TV series, and there's always one that stands out, and that's The Sopranos. And there's loads of films. I like the old sci-fi ones, like the original War of the Worlds. The original. And what was the other one? With Michael Rennie. He just comes in a flying saucer, lands on there, 19C there. He goes, I want to talk to your president, where's that behind yourself? Where do you come from? Stop there, speak. Great. So, the likes of those like War of the Worlds, and they're all great. God, blimey, I'm trying to think. It came from outer space. I loved all them. But to get a good science fiction one, there are some good ones. Like Extraterrestrial is a cracking film, in my opinion. There's a film, it's not a science fiction, and it's called The Last Voyage of the Dementor. Cracker. I think so, anyway. I think so. Yeah, I'm first. Spot on, Frankie. Olivier, best I've seen. Wonderful actor. Fantastic. I always remember Richard Attenborough in an interview, and it was when he was making A Bridge Too Far. And it's a true story, and he was the doctor there, like the doctor of this town. And he read about the doctor, Richard Attenborough. And he said, as I was reading about this man, this doctor, coming out, and it was given a description of how he felt and everything. And he said, and as I was reading this, he said, the face started to loom in front of me. Who could play this man for all the emotion, everything to do with what's happening in his little conclave. And that was Larry Olivier. That's what he said. Tiki darling, nothing but it. Jumped me out of my skin when the phone went. May as well. Until after I'd see. Fight everyone. The outfit to Gary. I'm intrigued about Trees Lounge Buscemi. Directed and wrote it. Should be a cracker. You're talking about Steve Buscemi. Did I say James before? Fuck, I don't know. He mentioned me on the Jimmy Kimmel show. I think it was Jimmy Kimmel. So I was told anyway. I didn't watch it. Wanted is good with Jolie. Wanted. I've heard of that, Wanted. And the boss says, good to share opinions and info. Best of luck to the lads. Their capital. I used to love travelling down in the old footy special. Yeah, I think we all did. And winning. All the best to UFC and all. See you next time, says the boss. See you, boss. Thanks for tuning in. Boss, Fulham will be a tough game. Yeah. Yeah. The Anfield. On Sci-Fi Roams, do you remember the time machine flight? Yeah. And it was brilliant. And that's why, like the likes of the time machine, H.G. Wells, he was a great visionary. I like writers who are great visionaries. my thing was going, like I've got a mouse there, and it was going all over the place on it. So, yeah, the Time Machine and Visionaries, brilliant. It was really good the way they did it as well. When you look at these things, the likes of Jules Verne, for example, he was a great visionary. Shakespeare was. Shakespeare. I'm looking at that fucking moving there. Mad, that. And so what you've got these like, look at Orwell. I'm not talking about Nostradamus, by the way. I'm not talking about Nostradamus because he's got loads of codes and everything else, and you've got to try and decipher them. Yeah. He just doesn't come out and say it. It's other people. It's like it in hieroglyphics, with the likes of pyramids, and they're reading all these like things. Even Shakespeare, Old English. Because don't forget that they had to come from, excuse me, they had to come from Latin into English, and it's Old English. It's not. If you go back, let's go back to Shakespeare, and you were sitting in a bar, you wouldn't understand what they were saying, Do you know that? Remember Kenny Dalglish when he first came to Liverpool? He's hard to understand now, never mind then. No one could understand him. Have you ever heard the analogy? You what, mate? That's what it'll be like now. And they didn't speak, the likes of the Elizabethan court didn't speak. Hello, how are you? They spoke in like different dialects. It's like Robert Newton when he played Long John. And he went, he said, how are you going to play this chap? Robert Newton was a great actor as well, And he said, well, I know how they speak down there. He said, so I'll give them the accent. He said, well, can you give us a try? He said, I'll do it at rehearsal. So he said, okay. So he's talking about it. But when they did the real take on film, it was totally different. And I think his first line was, he was talking to Jim Hawkins, or Kitty, or whatever the name was. And he went, "Har, Jim, har, Kitty, Jim," something like that. And they stopped. They were like, "What are you doing?" This is the way they have. This is the way he wants to do it. Okay. Couldn't do anything else. Well, okay, yeah. Har, I think he was buried at the time, to be honest. Yeah, so I like the Time Machine. Anfield, loved it. 2001, A Space Odyssey is a beautiful film. Kubrick was the best part from Hitchcock. Was the best apart from Hitchcock. Yeah, that was incredible. That, that was made in what, 68, 67, 68. And look what it was like. Incredible. But they really expected things to be like that. Now, there's only one space station. I don't know whether it's still there anymore. And no one could build a space station. But who did? The Russians. The Russians built a space station. And they thought that they'd have space stations every fucking way. Have you seen those taxis in China? I think I mentioned it a few weeks ago what I was watching. And they're out now. Jump in a taxi, it goes like that. It's just like a drone. Taking you. Only 2 passengers, like, but takes you. Incredible. In China. Things in the sky. And that's what these great science fiction they always write about, isn't it? But we can't even get to the bottom of our oceans to see what's down there. Damn for you. Frankie, here's an old one for you. Marooned. Richard Crenna, Ackman, Peck, John Sturgis directs. Marooned. Richard Crenna, Ackman, Gregory de Peck. I've heard of it, but it could be another Marooned. I don't know. A lot of people don't understand Scousers, Frank. Said the Airtail just don't understand us because of what we are and who we are. And we take no messing from anybody. Christopher. I liked Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Great books and radio show. Also brilliant TV series. The film was good as well. Douglas Adams was a great author. Yeah, Back to the Future. No, I'm sorry. Hitchhiker's Guide. It was like visually. It really is, isn't it? The Chinese taxis sound like something Back to the Future. Yeah. Yeah. I tell you, he was one of the greatest visionaries. And he was an artist. I like people with, I'm not talking science fiction. Anyone can write science fiction, whatever. There's some good science fiction writers, actually. It's like, as you mentioned there before, Space Odyssey. It's brilliant, that. Great film. When you see it the way it is, then no that CGI or anything like that. That's why I mentioned about the birds. Just imagine if Hitchcock had the technology today, what he'd do with the birds. Be more frightening. That would frighten you. Wouldn't it, really? I'll tell you, the greatest of all visionaries was none other than Leonardo da Vinci. Da Vinci. And I'll tell you for why. he actually had the visions of a helicopter. And he had the vision of a submarine. A submarine. Think about it. To see the depths of the sea, as he said. To see the earth from above with his helicopter. Incredible. As didn't George Orwell predicted everything that's going on today. And people just went, whatever. How would they be looking at us? You're looking at me now. And someone else will be looking at me and you. And Edward says, I'll have to read his book. 1984. Also invented the contact lenses. Yeah. Remember Galileo? Do you know what Galileo's name was? Galileo Galilei. Galileo. The telescope, glasses, everything. And then you look, you go, these great people. Great people. Go back to Roman times. Look at fountains and everything. How did they do that? Oh, fuck. How can you have a fountain with water coming up? How can you have underfloor heating? How can you have a big sword, and a big sling, and a big everything? Big temples. And then you look and you go, well, the Greeks had them as well. Oh, yeah, the Greeks had them. But who built the pyramids? Was it the Greeks? Was it the Romans? I think in about 10,000 years' time, or 25,000, the Yanks will be saying, we built them. Like they say everything else. We invented everything. So true, Frankie. The birds are always heightening, especially when a whole bottle of Zinfandel. What's fucking Zinfandel? You're taking the piss, aren't you? Zinfandel, what's that? Cast out by the he was a heretic, wasn't he? Because of it. Christopher. He was homosexual as well. Slaves built the pyramids. Who designed them? Who designed? Airtight air. And what was his name? Lord Carnarvon, was it? When he opened the thing and he seen the most beautiful colour. he got the first scene. He went, wow, he's amazed. The colour inside the pyramid that's been fucking closed up for 8,000 years. But now it's corrupted once the air gets it, just corrupts. It's like when I go to Pompeii and I'm looking around, I go, the murals, especially in Herculaneum, unbelievable. The colours are there. But could you imagine what they were like at the time? Aliens. Yes. Aliens. No one can tell me, no disrespect to our Arab brothers, or that they just came out with us. Bill, no fucking chance. And even across South America, the Mayans, Bill. Well, people, thank you. I won't be doing a watch along tomorrow, unfortunately. That's a good one. That if you ever want me to do anything about crop circles, about pyramids, and these other strange things, I'll do it, you know. But you've got to let me know. You've got to let me know. And these, like what you call first contact. First contact. Have we heard anything? That Sagan fella said, you know, it'll be like thousands of years until we get a reply back. I thought, but that's going back. And it was Einstein with his theory of bending space. Bending space. Can I give you an example? Say that's, how can I do this properly? Okay, like this, there's where we are, you know, this galaxy, this fucking universe thing, right? And the more deeper you're in, this is the theory, the more deeper you're in there, great, right? But have a look at this. Where we are. If you go down to, say, like South America, South Africa, places like Australia, and you go further north, right up to where Trump was, Greenland or somewhere, and you look up, and you look up down South America, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, and what you see are billions of stars right across there. Billions. Billions. Not like here when you look up and you see a couple of stars and it's going to be nice tomorrow. No clouds. But where are we there? Where are we there? Are we in there? in here, and we're in this big cluster. Where we are is there. We're on the edge of that or that. We're on the edge, right there, looking down. And what they say is, we're the most primitive of a planet. Those have already been formed billions of years. So if there's life, they're so far ahead. And we think that we're fine. We do, don't we? We get the latest things and we're made up with it. And you know, when you look at a phone, you go, wow, you know, you couldn't do that, could you? You couldn't do it. You know, we watch films. I was watching a film there, and it was John Mills, you know, and I was Monty's double, true story, and something was happening, and he had to jump in the car, and there's no phone, and I said, like you said, just imagine if they had a mobile. Listen there, something's happened. See what I mean? How technology is taken over. But just imagine the technology there. Do you know what I said? I must have been about 20 years of age. Don't tell me, don't try and guess when that was. And here's what I said. I said, in the future, I remember looking at the telly, fucking telly in the corner. We always had the telly in the corner, didn't we? A black and white thing. And I said, in the future, we won't be watching a thing like that. We'll be watching holograms. I said, hologram? What do you mean, holograms? I said, you know, real life, like us now, but there'll be holograms, and it'll be like a television on the wall, but it'll be acting out like real life, like. And it was one of my uncles said, do you mean like 3D, what you get now? I said, yeah, but it'll be in here. Anyway, don't think that'll happen, but that's. Edward says, do you know Frank, I'll watch. Christopher says, have a great weekend, Frank, and everyone. I'm going into Liverpool, going to watch the National in the pub. I bet it's rammed. Yes, up the Reds. We're going to win the league. Are you here, Christopher? Didn't know we were on the edge. Yeah, we're right on the edge. We're the most primitive, and people don't know that. Or they don't realise it. It's mad that the universe is constantly expanding. I'll do that one day, one night, whatever. I'll just do it. Give you my theories. Well, anyway, boys, I'm finishing now. Thank you for joining me this morning. That's some good laughs. And I was thinking of that picture, you know, where just something Harvey it was. And Emma Thompson. Something Harvey. Anyway, it's a good film. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you on pre-match tomorrow. I don't know what time it'll be, but just look out for it, okay? Be about hour and a half, an hour before the game. Thank you so much. Thank you. ci vediamo a domani. Ciao, ciao bello.